Hello and welcome to 老外看东西. I'm Stu.
And I'm Ali.
And today we're going to talk about how to give the perfect self-introduction. Many tests or interviews here in China often require a self-introduction in English. A good self-introduction not only leaves a good first impression, but it allows you to fully display your oral English ability.
Yes, and many students have just been through the second round of postgraduate school examinations, and many colleges and universities have been just conducting the second round of oral English tests.
Yeah, so what makes a good self-introduction in English? What do you need to prepare? What things do you need to say? Well, we're going to talk about that today, especially Ali, because he's an expert at this. And of course, we have to start where we always start, with the basics.
So the absolute basics should be absolutely perfect, right? You shouldn't make any mistakes when talking about your names, your schools, all those basic informations. Otherwise, you will leave a really bad first impression.
Yeah, it has to be perfect.
Perfect.
Right. So from the very start, it needs to be hello or good day, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time.
Or you can say the word greetings, which is really formal, but things most of the time when you do your self-introduction in English, it will be in some formal occasion like interview, either for the school or for the the work experience. So you should say greetings, distinguished professors, or all those people here.
And you can also add, thank you for the opportunity to present myself today, or thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today.
Yes.
Or,
thank you for having me here.
Thank you for having me.
Right.
Yeah, so, what else? It's an honor to be here.
Right.
Thank you for having me. And then, of course, my name is.
Right.
And then your full name.
Yes. And you see, the interesting part here is that because I have done this so many times in business school, we Chinese students, we usually have some English names, but it's not actually real names. It's actually more like a nickname. So pick your name, wisely. I think we have covered that in our previous show, right?
Yeah.
Do not call yourself like apple or banana or like
no.
Yeah, just pick the right name. And I have a sentence for it. I think it's really good because lots of students they will introduce themselves like my Chinese name is blah 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 and my English name is blah blah blah, which is not that correct because that's not your formal English name. You should say, let's say my Chinese name is Zhang San and you can call me Jack.
You can call me.
You can call me Jack. Yeah.
Okay. And the second part of the absolute basics is your educational experience.
Right.
Okay, so my name is Stuart and I am a graduate from Oxford University.
Right. And my name is Ali. You can call me Ali. And I go to school at Peking University.
Yeah, okay.
So I graduated from there.
Yeah, so you can say you're a graduate from.
Right.
Or you can say you're a student at.
Yes.
So if you've already graduated, you have graduated from somewhere.
Right.
And then if you're still at that place, you say, I'm a student at.
Yeah, and a small piece of reminder, because so many students here in China, they forget to check the English name of their school, which is bad, because you do have an official English name of your school, which is on the website. You should go back and check it out, because I have so many students who just say, I'm a student from, and then they go with Chinese, 大学, which is not a good way to introduce it.
And if you need to introduce your major or your degree, you could say you have a degree in. That's if you've completed it. I have a degree in history. Ali has a degree in
English literature.
Or if you're currently studying, you are majoring in history or English.
Yes.
Okay. And what else have we got? If you have work experience, this is where you'll mention it, right?
Right. Yeah. It's at the very beginning, right? Probably. And I think you should have numbers really works. You do need to talk about it. Or in your school, you may have some very, great extracurricular activity experience. This is also the time to mention it.
Yes.
Right?
For example, you can say, I am a, and then your position at the company, right? So this is if you've already got a job and you're looking for another job. Or you, I interned at the name of the company as your position.
Yeah. For example, I interned at Disney as a actor. No, just
really?
No, never. Right.
No.
Okay.
I actually interned at an estate agent's as a receptionist, answering the phones. That was my work. Yeah, that was my work experience.
All right. Okay.
And then after introducing that work experience, you'll want to say what that work experience did for you.
Right.
It allowed me to learn
A, B, and C.
Skills,
right.
A, B,
Teamwork, leadership. Yeah, just throw some big words to impress the people there.
So, on the topic of work experience, let's go in depth and see what else you can say. There are certain sentence constructions that I've got written down here that will help you explain your work experience. For example, let's take a look. I have XXX years of experience in a certain field. For example, I have 3 years experience in social media, or I have 10 years experience in presenting.
I have 20 years of experience of doing nothing, or just saying that, right? Yeah, of course.
But you want to say in your field.
Yes,
right. He has 20 years experience of doing nothing.
Yes, right.
Yeah, but
in certain field.
Good one, Ali.
Yeah.
Right. First, I started as then your position.
Right.
And then I had the opportunity to, etc.
Promote or become, yes,
so,
stuff like that.
Presuming that you have already graduated.
Right.
And you've got a job already.
Right.
You can say, I started as a copy editor, and then I moved on to reporting. Right, so that's if you're in the media. So generally, you will have a career path. Even if you haven't really changed your job, you can still use this construction. I started as a
junior level and then senior level, P1, P2, P3, P4.
Yeah, there you go.
Also, when you're in school, well, if you need to pass certain exams, we do need your experience of your interns, or let's say some work inside the school. Maybe you work as a student community, and and first you started as let's say a correspondent, and then you promoted as the chairman or the leader of your student union. It would be great.
And you can also say, I was responsible for, and then you add your tasks.
Certain stuff,
right? So I started off as an editor, and then I moved on to, I don't know, whatever's next.
The boss.
And then I was responsible for, and then
doing
add
nothing.
your duties. Yeah, doing nothing. I was responsible for editing all of the different tasks. This is where you need to come up with a list of things that sound good.
And again, if you do want to get this job or get that position or to enter that school, number talks. Really, seriously. I think this is the problem when most people, given their self-introduction, they always talk about some vague concept, which is great. But you do need to,
have some concrete details.
Concrete details, like how many people do you lead, how many projects you've been through in your school, how many awards you have won. Give numbers. Because think about it, that interviewer will at least interview, let's say, 10 or 20 people a day. And if you cannot leave a good impression or just let people remember something, then you will be shortly forgotten and you might not pass the exam.
So I was responsible for, then your tasks. I worked on, then your projects. And I focused on, and then those can be the details, the very small details. So responsible for, worked on, focused on. Okay, right, and the final part of your self-introduction is probably the least important part, but also the most important, which sounds weird, but it's your hobbies and personal interests. The final part might be considered the least important, but it's a very good way to leave a lasting good impression. Because it's the last thing you'll mention in your self-introduction.
It's true.
And if it's boring, well, the last thing they'll think about you is you're boring. Right. So you have to
forget you.
Yeah, so you have to talk about what you're interested in.
Yes.
So the very basics to this is I enjoy, and then add the verb ing. I enjoy playing football. I enjoy painting. Right. I like to paint. I like to play football.
Yes.
Okay, it's very, very basic. I'm an avid fan of, and then add the thing that you are a fan of. I'm an avid fan of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I'm an avid fan of Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club, owned by a Chinese company. So you can add more and more details.
Yes.
Right. And Ali said he's got a golden rule when it comes to the
end of the self-introduction. I think, again, you should end with a story. This is what I always tell my students, EM-based school or EM-based schools. Now, this is the case. Well, for most self-introduction, if you can make people remember you, then you succeed at least 50% or even more. And make it memorable. Make yourself remembered by others. And how can we remember someone? Usually it's because of some very interesting, unique stories. So this is what I ask my students to do in the class. I'll ask you to do the same thing too, but if you have more time, now find a piece of paper and write down 7 things that you think are most unique about yourself. The things that you have done. For example, I would say you have, you
traveled a lot.
Travel a lot. I mean, specific places, right?
I met David Beckham.
And oh, really? Yeah. No, okay. Yeah. But you met Yao Ming. That's good, right? And also 7 things that's really you think, which is really memorable, really unique. But the 7 stuff, and then ask your friends. You can have a team of 4 or team of 5, and show your stuff, show your things to the friend around you. It can be anyone. I mean, just common people. And they will choose for you which one they think is really unique, and then pick that 1 or 2 or 3 stories, usually just one, and just leave that one story in the end of your self-introduction. It can be just in 5 or 6 sentences. I remember in my MBA schools, one of my students actually who works for Huawei, I work as engineer at Huawei, and he was in Chile during this really huge earthquake, but he survived. And then he told this really interesting story about how to get out of a building of 20 stories in a like 9.0 level earthquake without panicking and saving more people. I mean, that's a story to introduce, and I can even remember him now. Right?
A good way to introduce that story, because it might be strange if you just say, I was in Chile.
Yes.
And, right, so a good way...
that's the end of the self-introduction.
A good way to do that is to say, as for my personal strengths,
right.
I am...
And then very you can list, calm person.
Yeah, then you can list your strengths and add this story into those strengths.
Yes, that's true. Because I always have this idea that the universe is not made up of atoms. Maybe it's stories. It's for romantic ideas. Stories actually help people. It's
it's true.
It's true, right? In Hollywood, they have
leave an impression.
Billions of dollars industry. It's all about stories, and you have stories for sure. Lots of students here in China think that I'm a normal student without any stories. People always say that. No, everybody has stories. You just have to dig in. 7 stories and let your friends help you to decide which one is most memorable and add it to the end. I think that's a perfect self-introduction.
And how to preface it is, as for my personal strengths, I am hardworking, conscientious, team player, and I also, and then add that story.
Add that story, yeah. So this is structure of a perfect self-introduction. Greetings, hello everyone. My name is, you can call me, and then your education background and your work experience and the way to describe yourself and that the story. All together, 2 minutes, nice and sweet.
Easy.
Bam! You
Easy.
Get to Peking University. Right?
Can you do a very quick self-introduction now? Put you on the spot?
No problem. Greetings everyone. My name is Stu and Ali. You can call me Ali. I graduated from Peking University. I have 10 years of experience in education, and I think I'm a very loving person because I'm the only one who proposed Antarctica. I think you can remember me now.
Perfect. And it doesn't need to be too long.
Yes.
If it's too long,
right, people asleep.
Okay, right. So just remember those and tell us what you think. Leave us your stories, and we'll tell you if they're interesting or not.
Right.
Okay. And we'll see you next week for more. Bye.